Paige Shiver speaks out.
You think you should have gone to jail?
Tomorrow.
Did you tell anyone at the University of Michigan about this relationship?
On Good Morning America.
So, Anna's behind us on our Behind the Table podcast saying, have a great day, everyone. Take a little time to enjoy the view and don't give up. Don't give up. We're in it together. We'll get through it together. We'll see you tomorrow.
This is ABC 7 News at Noon.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Janessa Bishop, filling in for Susan Farley today. The Winslow Police Department tells us that they found Zachary Crothers. More on that coming up. Plus, we'll hear from the owner of Quality Jewelers about the acts of vandalism in Bangor and an update about Penobscot Air and USPS. Thank you for joining us. We'll have more on these stories coming up. But first, let's check in with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, happy Thursday afternoon. We've had some rain and a little bit of snow passing through the region. The snow primarily being farther off towards the north. Whatever accumulates, not sticking around long, as temperatures will be above freezing today and the next several days. So let's zoom things out. We can see this area low pressure rotating through, and we'll see the activity slowly backing off overnight, but we'll see a little bit more moving in as we head towards the daytime tomorrow. So here's Futurecast moving forward. We can see the rain and snow passing through today, and some of it lingering for a bit tonight, but again backing off. But by tomorrow we'll see some more activity, rain and snow showers that will be developing, but again temperatures getting above freezing. So again, if we see anything stick, it's not sticking around very long. Now gusty winds today, especially farther off toward the west, will reach up to about 25 to 30 miles per hour. It will back off for a bit tonight with some gusts at around 15 miles per hour, but everyone will see gusty winds at around 25 miles per hour. But for today, here we go. Mostly cloudy, some rain and snow showers with highs in the upper 40s and that northwest wind at about 25 miles per hour. Hourly forecast moving forward, some clouds, rain, and a few snow showers before backing off this evening. Temperatures in the 40s and then falling too. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up.
Thank you, Devin. We'll look forward to that. Well, a sigh of relief this morning in the town of Winslow as the police department there tells us that they found Zachary Crothers. The Winslow Police Department says that he was found between 9 and 10 this morning and that he's doing all right. The 24-year-old went missing on Sunday afternoon, prompting police to ask those living in the area of Clinton Avenue, Benton Avenue, and Halifax Street to review camera footage from that day. Authorities say Crothers has developmental disabilities. Again, the Winslow Police Department told us this morning that Crothers has been found and that he is okay. Meanwhile, a Bangor man who police say was found in his underwear while allegedly trying to break into cars earlier on Wednesday morning is now believed to be connected to a swath of overnight vandalism across the city. As our Alex Schley tells us, a number of local businesses were impacted before an arrest was made.
Get on my cameras, I see there's a giant rock through my door. Not what you want to wake up to.
That was the reality that Zach LeClaire, owner of Quality Jewelers, woke up to Wednesday morning, along with a number of other Bangor business owners. Bangor police say the man captured on video is believed to be 34-year-old Alexander Justice.
I was notified, got right down here, met with the police. Our cameras were able to capture the video of the guy actually doing the act. We got some really good shots of him, and it seems like the police got him right away.
Investigators say they believe the damage spree began at the plaza at the corner of Exchange and Washington Streets, where in addition to Quality Jewelers, rocks were also thrown through the windows of Heroes Sports Grill and Entertainment Center and Henry's Bridal Boutique.
They didn't have him in custody until I showed him the video, but I'm sure there was other businesses that caught him.
Police say the vandalism continued down Exchange Street, where windows at TD Bank and the courthouse were also shattered. From there, Justice is believed to have made his way to State Street, where he allegedly damaged the storefront of both Friday Pawn Shop and Thai Etc. Just before 7 o'clock, officers were called to Center Street for reports of a man in his underwear trying to break into vehicles.
They arrived and observed an individual actively trying to get into a vehicle that did not belong to him.
Justice has since been charged with failure to report a crime, criminal mischief, and probation violation. Business owners say while the cost to repair the damage set them back about $1,000, they're more concerned about the state of their community.
When these things happen, people don't want to be around here. It makes it incredibly tough to run a business. And I'm not alone when I say that we're really fed up.
Investigators say nothing was stolen from the vandalized businesses. In Bangor, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Well, authorities are also searching for those who vandalized a beloved tree in Old Town, or in Orono. It's known as the Big Old Tree and is located in the Jeremiah Colburn Natural Area. According to the Orono Land Trust, someone used spray paint to mark a portion of the tree's trunk. The Public Works Department is now looking into ways to safely remove the paint with hopes of saving that tree. The tree is believed to be over 350 years old. Meanwhile, town leaders in Lemoyne are warning those who apply for construction permits that scam emails are circulating related to those applications. A letter from Town Treasurer Stu Macroon says that applicants have received emails from an unknown sender demanding payment for, quote, application review and approval fees, asking the recipient to wire a large amount of money. Macroon says that the email address is not a legitimate town address and is not actually from the town planning division or the chair as it claims to be. He also says that the emails come from a USA.com domain, and there is actually no such thing as the Town of Lemoyne Planning Division. Macroon says that if you get one of those emails, do not respond or open any attachments, but rather just delete it. If you've been harmed by this scam or any other scam, contact law enforcement immediately. Well, moving on now, Maine's referendum on transgender athletes in school sports is facing a legal challenge. Several Maine residents have filed a lawsuit claiming referendum supporters did not gather enough signatures to put it on the ballot this fall. The Secretary of State concedes that some mistakes were made in the validating of those signatures, but Shenabello says there weren't enough mistakes to keep the referendum off the ballot. The people who filed the suit claim hundreds of people signed that petition more than once, and some were not legally registered to vote. It will now be up to the court to decide whether Mainers will still be able to consider that issue when they head to the polls in November. Well, 3 top Democratic candidates for governor held a joint press conference at Granite City Park in Hallowell yesterday to announce their endorsement from Sierra Club Maine, a volunteer-run grassroots organization focused on environmental advocacy. Secretary of State Shenna Bellows, former House Speaker Hannah Pingree, and former Senate President Troy Jackson all received the organization's endorsement. Sierra Club Maine Political Committee Chair Emma Conrad says its endorsement process spanned several months and consisted of reviewing candidates across all parties, environmental records, and the organization's questionnaire responses.
A Green New Deal for Maine would invest and have the state install solar panels, heat pumps, and conduct weatherization on LIHEAP-eligible homes.
I also supported pioneering laws to tackle the PFAS crisis and the first-in-the-nation law that required big corporations to pay for wasteful packaging.
We supported more than 250 towns through the Community Resilience Partnership, like Hallowell, to prepare for future storms and save taxpayers' money.
The gubernatorial primary election is on June 9th. Well, it's an overdue step in the right direction. A local air delivery company will be receiving around $97,000 from the U.S. Postal Service, a 25% chunk out of an overdue balance dating back to 2023. Our Doug Banks with that story.
An update in the dispute between Penobscot Island Air and the United States Postal Service. In a Facebook post Tuesday night, the local delivery company announced that USPS will pay off 25% of the roughly $388,000 it owes the company for deliveries dating back to 2023. As of Wednesday, Penobscot Island Air is back to work. We have a framework for going forward, its post said. There's enough clarity for us to work with. Senator Susan Collins encouraged by the update.
The Postal Service has a responsibility to ensure that mail is delivered in a timely fashion. That commitment is especially important in a rural state like Maine.
Aside from some good faith payments earlier this year, company officials say they hadn't received a payment from USPS since March 13th, forcing them on Tuesday to halt deliveries to Vinyl Haven, North Haven, and Matinicus Island.
We are an independent small company and we cannot continue to do this the way it's been going.
It's crucial that they have mail service. What the hell is going on over there? What is going wrong? And why do we have to hear these complaints so often?
A spokesperson with the Postal Service told us on Tuesday they'd reach out to Penobscot Island representatives to resolve the matter, but couldn't go into the specifics of its business relationship. The company says that USPS will make that 25% payment this coming Friday. Doug Banks reporting for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Coming up on ABC 7 News at noon, Needle Point Sanctuary hosted an Earth Day cleanup in Bangor. We'll have more when we come back.
My name is Rebecca Babrot, and I'm studying my master's in social work at the University of Maine. After high school, I went to college in upstate New York, but then got involved with life and family, so I had a college education, but no degree. When I first thought about going back to school, it seemed really intimidating.
One of the great things about an online program is that you can combine studying as part of your day.
I'm actually studying right now.
It's such a great feeling to have made myself important in the process and to continue my education.
Everyone deserves to be connected. Big cities, small towns, everywhere in between. And staying connected shouldn't break the bank. That's why T-Mobile and US Cellular have joined forces. And now that we've combined networks, T-Mobile covers more places than ever before. America's best network just got bigger. Join now and your plan price is guaranteed for 5 years. T-Mobile and US Cellular, better together.
This spring, invest in your nest with the County Federal Credit Union. Your home has grown in value season after season. With the county's 10-10 Home Equity Line of Credit, you can borrow up to your credit limit over 10 years with interest-only payments over those 10 years. 10-10. And then you can stop and smell the roses, soak up the sun, and invest in your nest. The 10-10 Home Equity Line of Credit, the County Federal Credit Union, countyfcu.org.
Kirk Fisher is a motorcycle attorney with first responder experience. He protects fellow riders and those in danger, fighting fires and fighting for your rights. Experienced, determined, and dedicated. Iron Horse Motorcycle Lawyers. Look for motorcycles, or Kirk Fisher will be looking for you.
I'm Barry Higgins from Maple Lane Farm. We have our own beef herd here. We run about 800 head, and it's raised right here on the farm. And we go direct to the consumer. No middleman, all natural, good old-fashioned Maine beef. Our quality is unbeatable. We have specials on Facebook every week. We guarantee our product 100%, whether it be beef, pork, or chicken. And we have a small selection of lamb also.
Maple Lane Farm, a candy store for a carnivore.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
With tension around the Strait of Hormuz growing, the president today saying in a post on social media that he had ordered the U.S. Navy to shoot and kill any boat that is laying mines in the strait. We're also learning the Pentagon says that the U.S. military seized another ship in the Indian Ocean. All this as the Pentagon announces that the top Navy official will leave effective immediately. ABC's Christian Cordero has the latest from Washington.
Today, new video released by the Pentagon shows the latest operation against Iran at sea. U.S. troops are seen rappelling from Navy helicopters onto a tanker the Pentagon says was transporting oil from Iran. It happened in the Indian Ocean, the second time an Iranian-linked ship has been seized by U.S. forces this week. It's part of the Trump administration's effort to crack down on anyone helping support Iran as it tries to enforce a naval blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. The president posted on social media today that he has ordered the U.S. Navy to shoot and kill any boat that is putting mines in the strait, adding the U.S. military is working to clear mines from the critical waterway. Iran calls the capture of the vessels an act of piracy and insists it still has control of the strait. Iranian state media released this footage showing an Iranian speedboat pursuing a cargo ship before masked Revolutionary Guard members boarded it, rifles drawn, as it searches the cabin. The tug of war in the strait has effectively shut it down, impacting economies far beyond the region. Roughly 20% of the global oil supply passes through the strait, and efforts to make up the difference since the war began have fallen well short.
We are facing the biggest energy crisis in the history.
And as tension grows at sea, an administration official tells ABC News Secretary of the Navy John Phelan was asked to step down immediately. Phelan was a civilian political appointee responsible for training and equipping Navy sailors. No reason was given, but sources tell ABC News he and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth clashed several times in recent months. And today, a second round of talks between Israel and Lebanon is set to happen here in Washington. The ceasefire between the two countries expires at the end of the week. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Now to a historic drug shift. President Trump's acting attorney general signed an order reclassifying state-licensed medical marijuana as a less dangerous drug. The order does not legalize marijuana for medical or recreational use under federal law, but it does change the way it's regulated, shifting licensed medical marijuana from Schedule 1, reserved for drugs without medical use and with high potential for abuse, to the less strictly regulated Schedule 3. It also gives licensed medical marijuana operators a tax break and eases some barriers to researching cannabis. The Trump administration said the shift was jump-starting the process for reclassifying marijuana more broadly, setting a hearing to begin in late June. 24 states plus Washington, D.C. have authorized adult recreational use of marijuana. 40 have medical marijuana systems, and 8 others allow low THC cannabis or CBD oil for medical use. Only Idaho and Kansas ban marijuana outright. Well, moving on now, Pope Leo XIV departed Equatorial Guinea, closing out his 4-nation Africa tour. It's an end to one of the most captured papal trips in history. On Thursday, he held a final mass in Equatorial Guinea. Roughly 30,000 people showed up for it. During his 11-day trip across the continent, his back and forth comments with President Trump overshadowed some of his visits, which Leo later addressed, saying he was not seeking to debate him. He also said he came to the continent to, quote, celebrate with, to encourage and accompany the faithful there. According to statistics from the Vatican, roughly 1/5 of the world's Catholics live in Africa. Well, you may not realize this, but spring is an important time of the year for the Red Cross. Since donations typically drop in the summer, the organization is asking folks to step up now. The Red Cross says that the warmer months bring more movement and activity among the population, which unfortunately means more accidents and emergencies. So the Red Cross is speaking out about their need for blood donors.
There's a constant need for blood. Every 2 seconds, someone in the United States needs blood, so it's important to have the blood on the shelves, and donating now makes sure that we can do that in the coming weeks and months ahead.
Go to redcrossblood.org if you'd like to make your donation. Bangor residents turned Earth Day into a day of action, joining forces for a citywide cleanup. Volunteers work together to beautify public spaces and make a lasting impact. Our Alexa Kennedy has the story.
This Earth Day, Bangor community members joined Needlepoint Sanctuary for a citywide cleanup, volunteering their time to improve parks and public spaces. The day-long event brought together residents and organizations with the goal of making Bangor cleaner and stronger. Public health community organizer for Needlepoint Sanctuary, Luke Sakara Flanders, emphasizes the importance of collective action.
Environmental issues affect everybody. Everybody needs a clean environment. We want to collaborate with as broad a spread of organizations as possible to really make this a community celebration of of our Earth and of our responsibility to care for the environment.
Needlepoint Sanctuary partnered with numerous local and statewide advocacy organizations, including the Maine Environmental Education Association and Bangor Area Recovery Network.
The only way we can weather this storm is to work together.
Flanders says that even small efforts like cleanups can bring people closer.
Once you step away from that screen and you see the people that actually are present in your community, you see that you share a lot more than you may realize.
For volunteers like Bangor resident Jack Williams, the cleanup is personal.
I take pride in being from Bangor, and so I like to see Bangor being as clean as possible, you know, and just make it the best it can be.
Flanders says they hope to make the community cleanup an annual Earth Day tradition.
By practicing a relationship of responsibility rather than extraction and viewing the environment as something to simply be taken from, where we're taking steps to leave a better world behind for future generations.
In Bangor, Alexa Kennedy, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
After the break, we'll learn about how the game of soccer can be a form of medicine. We'll be right back.
Maine's premier community radio station, Star 97.7. Locally owned and operated for over 20 years with Paul and Mike in the morning. Local weather with Steve McKay and Michael W. Hale in the afternoon. Star 97.7.
Don't take a tiny check for your car wreck. Call the twos.
I got a client who injured their wrist, a big check for $185,000. Hurt in a car accident? I'm your go-to guy.
There are so many fun things to do in Maine. Now you can enjoy more for less. Check out half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
For the perfect floral arrangement, look no further than Luigi & Fredericks in Bangor. Our expert florists beautifully arrange flowers for any celebration or occasion. Trust Luigi & Fredericks for bouquets that brighten anyone's day.
There's a limited supply available. It's on sale right now. Save with half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
Roto-Rooter has served the greater Bangor area and beyond for 35 years, offering plumbing, hydrojetting, snaking, descaling, video inspection, and grease interceptor cleaning services. For all your residential and commercial clogs, call Roto-Rooter today, 990-1234.
And away go troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Cancer affects everyone, but there is hope at Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center's Champion the Cure Challenge, where every dollar raised helps patients in our own backyard. Make a difference. Walk, run, or cycle August 15th in Brewer. Visit ctcchallenge.org.
Maine's premier community radio station, Star 97.7. Locally owned and operated for over 20 years with Paul and Mike in the morning. Local weather with Steve McKay and Michael W. Hale in the afternoon. Star 97.7.
A soldier's pet on the move.
So now the dog has been in 3 homes. Yours for a little bit, hers for a little bit, yours for a little bit, then hers.
Now a fight over the dog's next new home.
You found her wandering on a country road in our neighborhood. And according to the vet's report, the dog was in miserable condition. Instead of saying thank you to her, you take the police to her house.
Next, Judge Judy.
Thursday at 5 on ABC 7.
The next FIFA World Cup is set to play on U.S. soil in 2026. And now new research says soccer could just be the secret to a longer life. Once again, ABC's Christian Cordero with more.
More than 1 billion people worldwide tuned into the FIFA World Cup in 2018. Watching can be fun, but health researchers are encouraging fans to get outside and play. A study from Emory reports half of participants in a 6-month pilot program where they got coaching in soccer drills and games were able to reverse findings of early diabetes. The program also funded lifestyle coaching. On average, participants lost 5% of baseline weight. Researchers tout soccer as medicine, an efficient way to combine strength, endurance, and aerobic high-intensity interval training. In an expanded study from the American Heart Association, scientists hope to prove soccer could add years, improve heart health, and enhance quality of life among men and women aged 40 to 65 years old. With this Medical Minute, I'm Christiane Cordero.
Well, speaking of the FIFA Cup, the chip company Lay's is spicing things up with some new flavors to celebrate. The potato chip brand is introducing 3 internationally inspired flavors in the U.S., including Lay's Argentinian-style steak with chimichurri, Lay's Brazilian-style garlic sauce, and Lay's wavy French onion soup. The limited edition chips will be available at retailers nationwide and can also be purchased on TikTok Shop and Snacks.com starting in early May. The company will also roll out 37 limited edition flavors across South America, Central America, Europe, Africa, Asia, and then the UK. But the brand is offering more than just chips. Soccer and Lay's fans can enter to be a Lay's fan of the match by visiting LaysFW26.com before May 2nd for a chance to win 2 premium tickets to a match, pitch side access, and a custom trophy. The U.S. team will start their journey for a FIFA World Cup on June 12th against Paraguay in Los Angeles. When we return, Devin Biggs has your 5-day forecast.
Diabetes isn't a death sentence, but it is absolutely a life sentence, and you have to figure out how you're going to keep your kid alive. So when you find somebody from the government that's on your side, and it happens to be Susan Collins at the same time, that was just magnificent. After the meeting in Portland for my wife and son, my wife came back. She was 10 feet tall. She'd felt seen, she felt heard, and she felt like we had a powerful advocate on our side. It was a big step towards healing.
Thank you, Senator Collins.
Please continue delivering for T1 families.
Falls are the #1 cause of injury to senior citizens. Acorn Stairlifts has the solution. Just don't fall. Sit, relax, ride with an Acorn Stairlift, the world's leader in stairlifts. Don't let limited mobility keep you from going up and down your stairs, even outside. Call Acorn Stairlifts now for a free information kit and no obligation quote. Why risk falling when you can safely ride?
Our Acorn Stairlift is definitely more affordable than moving.
The Acorn Stairlift has a padded seat and backrest. Safety sensors stop the chair if there are obstacles. The seat swivels and locks so you don't twist your body. And the Acorn Stairlift folds away. It even runs during power outages.
I was really surprised at how little it cost.
Call 1-800-732-2971 right now for your free information kit or visit our website today. That's 1-800-732-2971.
I got hurt in a car accident. Why should I call the twos?
Because when you're hurt, you need money. And I don't take tiny checks. I get my clients big checks. I got a client who injured their wrist, a big check for $185,000. Another client broke their collarbone, and I also got them a big check for $400,000.
Don't take a tiny check for your car wreck. Call the twos.
Hurt in a car accident? I'm your go-to guy.
Now here's meteorologist Devin Biggs with your full weather forecast.
Alrighty, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go. Wave heights look like this at around 3 to 4 feet. According to the buoys, a slightly bit higher to the north and east, so overall not looking too bad. 1 to 3 feet farther off towards the east, so you get the general idea. The ocean overall not looking too bad nearby. But if you look on land, we do have a little bit of activity developing at around rain and snow showers with an area low pressure. So high temperatures today will be getting above freezing, so whatever snowfall that we see accumulating, not sticking around very long, as high temperatures will allow that to melt. But with that area low pressure developing, that's all that's developing nearby. Otherwise, we are looking rather calm. This will back off later on tonight, but more precipitation developing as we head towards tomorrow. Here's Futurecast. Again, we're going to see this back off later on tonight. And then as we head towards tomorrow, again, some more rain and snow showers will be developing throughout the morning and afternoon period. And again, like before, by Friday night, we'll see this backing off. And then for your Saturday, overall, a nice start on the way. Not much snow on the way, so that is some good news to report. Just a few returns you can see there on the map. And overall, that's about it. Before the numbers popped off, you saw a lot of goose eggs. So again, nothing to worry about. And anything you see there will melt away fast. So overall, again, with regards to the water there, you can see we'll have some rainfall of around 1/10 to 2/10 of an inch. And again, that's about it. That's additional water that we are looking at there. And we'll take the rainfall as, again, we're still dealing with drought, and we would definitely use the rainfall to knock down that drought just a little bit more. So we'll have some rain and snow showers today, otherwise mostly cloudy, with highs in the upper 40s and a northwest wind at about 25 miles per hour. By tonight, we have low 30s, mostly cloudy, some rain and snow showers, and that north breeze at about 5 miles per hour. And then for tomorrow, we have mid 40s, mostly cloudy, some rain and snow showers too again, and that north wind at around 25 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, showing a partly cloudy sky for your Saturday with highs in the upper 50s, and then low 60s for your Sunday under a mostly cloudy sky. Mostly cloudy Monday with highs in the low 60s.
Thank you, Devin. From Slash's guitar to a jacket Notorious B.I.G. wore in Rhyme and Reason, more than 400 lots of music memorabilia are about to hit the auction block at Prop Store in London. This offering includes items from Ed Sheeran, ABBA, Freddie Mercury, George Michael, and a rare poster signed by John Lennon hours before he died. Among the other items up for bid are a gold Shure microphone presented to Queen and used by Freddie Mercury, which Mercury gave to former roadie Peter Hintz and then used later during Top of the Pops. A Prop Store spokesperson believes that they're offering a great mix of old and new for bidders. All the items up for bid have a combined value of around $2 million. Well, that's all the time that we have for a BBC 7 News at Noon. Thank you for watching. We'll see you tonight.
Step into a story that's funny, touching, and deeply human. Winterport Open Stage presents The Dining Room by A.R. Gurney. This unique production blends a series of scenes into a heartfelt look at family and tradition. Performances run May 1st, 2nd, 8th, and 9th at 7 p.m., with matinees May 3rd and 10th at 3 p.m. at Samuel Wagner Middle School in Winterport. For tickets, visit winterportopenstage.net or find Winterport Open Stage on Facebook.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.